Welcome back, fanboys and fangirls, to Nerds on Topic. Today's episode is totally not the Ninja Turtles.
Ready? Kick it up now!
Well, I mean, it's coffee. Definitely not anything else. Definitely coffee. Just a little bit cold now. Oh, I've been having a lot of recording issues tonight, guys. So hopefully everything is going to turn out all right now. I've been attempting to get the microphone to work for the last, let's see, I started 3 hours ago. And I probably should have reheated my coffee before pouring it. Oh, yeah, no. This is depressing. But hey, you know what's not depressing? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Too bad I'm not doing that today. Actually, I'm doing a little thing called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Totally Not Ripoffs, I swear. Tonight's episode is going to be featuring the likes of the Battletoads, Extreme Dinosaurs, Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, Samurai Pizza Cats, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, SWAT Cats, Road Rovers, Stone Protectors, and I think that's it. I don't 100% know exactly everything, but dear Lord, is there a lot of this. So, I mean, before I actually get into anything today, I'm just gonna sit back for a moment, relax, and talk. So I wanted to record this earlier, but I sit down and I, go through my whole routine. I start up the machine, I plug it into my laptop, I go and I make myself a nice fresh pot of coffee. I come over here, I sit down, I practice my lovely intro for you guys, but the audio wasn't working. So I sit there and I try to figure it out, play with things, and get desperate and start looking for shit on the internet, and I end up finding nothing, because somehow no one has ever had this problem before. And yeah, that kind of bugs me, but luckily I got some help. Shout out to the guys from Art and Jacob Do America. They assisted me. I do believe it was Jacob who assisted me. Yeah, Jacob. Thank you, dude. Much appreciated. So I guess this episode is unofficially going to be dedicated to you, bro. Funny enough, I actually met him at my job. He spotted that I had a podcasting sticker on my favorite cup, and that started up this whole conversation about how we found out we had podcasts. And I've been enjoying his. It's pretty cool. Go check it out. If you like me, you'll like him. Maybe, possibly. He talks about some weird shit, not gonna lie. Yeah, but how you guys doing today? I'm doing all right. It's been a little hectic. I've been having some power issues at the apartment. For some reason, my lights and everything else decided to flicker on and off for about an hour today. I look outside, literally no one else is doing the same thing. Freaking out a little bit. I went to go to knocked on the manager's door, and for some reason he needed an answer. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't start up again. I know all my bills are paid for now. That's weird. Anyway, so you guys all know how this works. This is a topic episode, and so every week I find a topic, I research the shit out of it. I research so much, I can develop my own team of mutated animals that I can train in some form of martial arts and or hand-to-hand combat, and then I set them loose on the world. And then on top of that, I also tell you all about it. So, where to start? I guess I'm gonna start with The Battletoads. Everybody knows the Battletoads, right? I know everyone who works at GameStop sure as hell knows the fucking Battletoads. Oh, man. I bet you guys have some really nice memories of that. So, for those who don't know, the Battletoads are a video game series that came from the popularity of not only the Ninja Turtles cartoon, but the Ninja Turtles video games that popped up in the late 80s, early 90s. It stars 3 toads that go by the name of Rash, Zitz, and Pimple, who are some weird ass teenagers who got turned into these things. They are currently fighting the Dark Queen, who tends to kidnap one of the 3 toads, as well as a random female. In the first game the Battletoads ever appeared in, they kidnapped Pimple and Princess Angelica, who is also going to be part of something later on. Yeah, no, the game is like notoriously difficult, and like apparently later on in the oncoming years, actually just a couple of years ago, someone decided to suddenly make the original Battletoads game extremely wanted, and everyone went out to every fucking GameStop in the world apparently asking for the Battletoads game. I think the price of the game quadrupled just because of its random resurgence. Anyways, going from there was a Game Boy game that had the exact same name, but was a completely different game, apparently. There was the Battletoads in Battle Maniacs, where Zitz and the daughter of a CEO ended up getting kidnapped by the Dark Queen. And then the ever-popular Battletoads Double Dragon crossover, where the Dark Queen and the Shadow Warriors teamed up, and so did the Battletoads and Billy and Jimmy, who, for those who don't know, are the name of the protagonists in the Double Dragon games. Yeah, that's cool. It was mostly based off the Battletoads gameplay style. So, side-scrolling beat 'em up, which, yeah, Double Dragons was also, but, like, apparently it had more of the power-ups and shit from Battletoads. Then, let's see, the last game that actually came out for them was called Super Battletoads, and it was a arcade-exclusive game. I didn't really read too much up on that, just that it was kind of just a more advanced version of the games. And recently, there has been an announcement of a brand new Battletoad game coming out next year, 2019, so that should be interesting. Can't wait to see what's going on with that. It looks like it's got a pretty good hand-drawn animation style going on with it, but all we've seen so far really is a frog tongue hitting a what's the word I'm looking for? A title card. So we got that. But there is one thing that really connects the Battletoads to a Ninja Turtle ripoff, and that would be the very bad cartoon they had that didn't last any longer than a pilot. So this is my little take on a canceled too soon, which is another really cool podcast. For some reason, they spelled cancel with a single L. So yeah, that's a thing. Anyways, so I sat down and I actually watched a lot of just like the first episodes of some of these shows that I'm going to be talking about today, because it was all on YouTube. And why the fuck not? And by God, this was one of probably the worst. Like, it just has these 3 really awkward teenagers in a high school who they just get turned into toads by this weird doctor from space and Princess Angelica, who are hiding from the Dark Queen. And, like, the villains, whenever they teleport, like, just come out of random kitchen appliances or slushy machines. And, like, the teleporters look like golf clubs. It's really weird. But the entire first episode is what could have been an entire season of a show condensed down into 30 minutes. And it was ridiculous. Like, they didn't even care who knew their secret identities. They could change in between the toads and the people. It was something else, I gotta say. Uh, but moving on from Les Battle Toads, let's actually start getting into the TV shows that were ripped off from the ever popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Kung Fu Terrapins, I should say. Starting with the Trolls attempting to cash in on the Ninja Turtle hype train, trying to make the troll dolls popular for young boys. We have the Stone Protectors, which is very bad. Uh, so they had a show and toy line with muscular, flat top wielding, man bun toting warriors who were also simultaneously a rock band. That should have gone great with boys, right? No, it was terrible. Like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We're moving on to the next thing I really don't want to talk about, which is the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Which is a double pun. Yes. And I like puns. This was not a fun pun. I like fun puns. It was about a group of cowboys who were literally cows who rode horses, which makes no sense. Why are the cows anthropomorphic, but not the horses? Like, that feels weird. The only interesting thing I saw in it was the fact that they had a corrupt sheriff in the show named Tara Bull. Yep. Nope. Still lasted 2 seasons somehow. Moving on from there, everyone's fan favorite Saban, who we all know for making the Power Rangers, known for taking footage from Japanese shows and making it into completely original American content. They wanted a piece of that ninja pie, but decided to go samurai. Pizza Cats, that is. The series lasted a whole 52 episodes. It was a combination, well, not even a combination, it was just edited footage from the show and completely rewritten dialogue for the American audience. It looks, honestly, like if Gundam had sex with a bunch of different animals and had this super deformed bastard chibi child. Apparently the original series, though, which is like Ninja Kittens or some shit like that, is currently airing on Crunchyroll, one of my favorite streaming services. Like, in the first episode, it mentions the Turtles, the Ninja Turtles specifically, like, at least twice, as well as a couple other pop culture references, especially for the time, which were really bad. It was about these 3 cats who ran a pizza delivery service, but were also samurais for hire. Yeah, it was bad. Still lasted 52 episodes. Don't know how. Moving on from there. Let's go into... from one pair of cats to another. We got SWAT Cats. So SWAT Cats is one of the most popular ones out there. It's one of the more talked about ones, like in groups of friends that I know. And like I asked people on my on the Facebook page on what their favorite was, and that seemed to be the consensus of people there. So SWAT Cats was a Hanna-Barbera produced attempt at a Ninja Turtle kind of formula, where 2 cats, their names were Chance, aka T-Bone, and Jake, aka Razor, which just makes me think of Toka and Razor from the Ninja Turtles. Are a pair of pilots who took on vigilante justice of their own in a special fighter jet that they, I want to say, apprehended. Where they take on like a slew of weird and interesting villains, and my favorite part of the show is fighting giant monsters. It lasted 2 seasons, and like its second season got significantly darker and a lot more anime influenced, like 90s anime influenced, which is really cool. Um, and actually, recently, it just got kickstarted for a whole new either season or series. I'm not 100% sure, but we might be seeing new episodes of that pretty soon. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Moving on from there, we've got, okay, so we're going from cats to dogs in the, I do believe it was Disney. Not 100% sure on that, but Road Rovers. Um, don't really have much to say about this. I didn't look too much into it. It's about I think it only lasted 1 season, maybe 2 seasons. Um, oh no, it was only 1 season. It was actually only 13 episodes. Dear Lord. It was set in New Mexico, and it was about a doctor who, whenever dogs start getting mutated into monsters, he decides to grab 5 dogs and, well, mutate them into super-powered crime-fighting, as he calls them, Cano sapiens. You know, like canines, but humans. Yeah, it was weird. Like each one had individual superpowers. One of them was a what's that breed called again? I think it was a Saint Bernard, and he kind of just looked like a big white Chewbacca. And then another one was a crazy dog that was literally like in the same kind of bondage that they put Hannibal Lecter in, and they would just let him out at the end of episodes to clean things up. Oh man, that it was weird. Did not really enjoy that one. Moving on from dogs, we're now getting into let's see. Oh, so okay. So I've finished up those ones. Those ones are, kind of the more basic ones. I'd say out of those ones, the most popular was, of course, SWAT Cats. And now we're getting to probably the most popular of the Terrafin Ninja spin-off series. And I think I'm going to do a quick break. Hello there, potential sponsor for the show. My name is Kevin, and I am the solo nerd. If you're interested in getting an advertising spot on this show, just hit me up on nerdsontopic@gmail.com. We can work things out, and I could get you an advertisement in this very slot. So if you're interested, hit me up. That is, once again, nerdsontopic@gmail.com. Now, back to the show. And I'm back. Okay, so there's like 4 series I can go into right now, but I'm not really sure if I should consider Gargoyles one. So I'm gonna leave it out. So I'm only gonna cover 3 of them. But these 3 have enough to where I could also do episodes on them individually. So I'm kind of just going to go into a brief description and like my own personal opinions on them. And we're going to start off with one of the most popular, Biker Mice from Mars. So, Biker Mice from Mars lasted 3 seasons. And actually, one of those seasons was a reboot / reintroduction to the franchise in 2007. But let's see. It started with okay, like it's weird. Like Biker Mice from Mars, it starts with a team of 3 rebel mice from Mars who are also bikers for some strange reason, crash landing on Earth after getting shot down from space. They crash land in Chicago, and it's currently getting completely demolished. They go through, and like within the first 5 minutes, there's a Ninja Turtles reference. Like, what were you expecting, turtles? The characters for the series are the leader, Throttle, who is actually played by Rob Paulson, who, if you guys don't know, played, I do believe, Raphael in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and played Donatello in the, well, I wouldn't say the most recent, but he's actually the voice over coach for the most recent animated series, The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But in the 2013 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, he played Donatello. So yeah, he's really cool. He's an alumni, probably like one of the most prolific voice actors out there right now. Anyways, yeah, he played Throttle. He was the logical one. He lost both his eyes in the war. And he wears sunglasses. He's the cool guy. Then we got Mondo, who Mondo lost one of his eyes and actually lost his arm in experimentation from the big bad guy during the war. He actually got his arm replaced with this really cool cybernetic arm that has lasers and rockets coming out of it. He has an eye patch, and he's considered like the rage head guy, who's the strongest of the group. And then there's Vinny, who is the funny one. He lost half of his fucking face and wears a metal plate over it, a la fucking Phantom of the Opera. He's the one that the other two have no fucking idea how he's still alive because of how recklessly he throws himself into danger and like does stunts and shit on his bike. He's my favorite. Most of the jokesters in the series are my favorite. So what else goes on in this? Like they even have their own friggin' April in the series. Her name is Charlene Davidson, you know, like the motorcycle, who's a mechanic who owns a garage with a name very similar to the antique store that April owns. It's called Last Chance Garage, where I think April's antique store is Second Chance Antiques, I do believe. So that's pretty interesting. They end up living inside the scoreboard of what is it? The Bears or whatever the sports team of Chicago is, their scoreboard. Yeah. So they land on Earth. They find out actually the people who had destroyed Mars, the Plutarchians, have also found Earth and decided to start taking out the problem of them trying to literally mine the planet to death before it's too late. More mice show up later on in the series. It's pretty cool, but it also has like this pretty light tone to the story. Let's see, it had the reboot in 2007 with, you know, updated graphics and stuff like that. And like had some really Star Wars feeling effects to it, like with the whole cat army thing that literally had like machines that look like AT-ATs and chicken walkers. That was pretty interesting. It also had a 3 or 4 issue comic book run by Marvel, and its own video game published by Konami, who I think still owns the right. So, who knows? They could get a new video game with some kind of uprising. But they released 2 games, one in 1994 and 2006. So who knows? They could do one soon. It's been about the same amount of time. And right now there's actually an iOS and Android game. It's kind of basic. It's one of those like swipe to the left, swipe to the right, collect coins and power-ups kind of thing, dodge all the incoming obstacles. That's got a kind of weak story behind it. Yeah, I tried it out. It's interesting. Moving on from there. So this one is my personal favorite of all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoffs. And I feel like is definitely in for a reboot comeback. It is Street Sharks. They fight, they bite, Street Sharks, Jossum. I know I'm terrible. Sorry. But like I rewatched the first episode for this, and it is dark, dude. So this Lex Luthor looking motherfucker, who's also named Luthor, Paradigm. I know him more as Dr. Paranoid because he gets turned into a piranha later on. And then I think he gets turned into an iguana, like becomes iguanazoid or some shit like that. But yeah, no, he steals Rob Burton, Dr. Burton, his gene slammer, and starts to use it to build an army of mutants to try to take over the world. And Dr. Burton tries to stop him, but Dr. Burton ends up getting captured by his two goons and fucking gene slammed himself into some kind of like weird freakish thing. But like it's kind of just alluded that they murder him. And to make sure that he does, that Dr. Paranoid doesn't get stopped, he kidnaps Dr. Burton's sons, his 4 sons, and decides to gene slam them with a couple of different types of sharks. So he has some like mindless monsters that would follow his every order. But something doesn't go right, and they end up just like becoming lifeless bodies. And so he dumps them into a storm drain where they are then washed off. Whenever they finally wake up, they're completely normal and they go get a hot dog. But when they're sitting there talking to each other, eating the hot dogs, they suddenly just start freakishly mutating into different kinds of sharks, freaking out the hot dog vendor. And then for some strange reason, they just decide to eat the hot dog cart whole. It was weird. It was a weird start of an episode. But, yeah. Their names are John, so the oldest son, John, the leader, starts going by Ripster, and he gets turned into a blue great white shark. Clint, the second oldest, a.k.a. Jab, is a mechanic who becomes a hammerhead shark. He's also the lazy one. So that's interesting. Bobby, who's the cool guy and the ladies' man, ends up going by Streaks, and he gets turned into a blue and purple tiger shark. He's also commonly seen as the guy who's rolling around on rollerblades. So he's the cool one. I already said he's the cool one. I'm just repeating myself now. Continue on. We got the youngest of the group, and obviously the bonehead, Coop. He goes by Big Slamoo, which is really stupid. They should have changed his name, or they should have had him be an orca, unlike someone who comes in later called Moby Lick, who is an orca. But instead, he is a whale shark, which is also known as the largest of the sharks. Interesting little tidbit there. Fun fact, if you will. With the help of their dad's assistant, Ben's, like that thing you get whenever you surface improperly from scuba diving that can kill you. They fight Dr. Dr. Paranoid, and his mutants, Rocksteady and Bebop. I mean, Slobster and Slash, who are a lobster and swordfish, respectively. Plus a slew of other villains, very similar to, but different from the Ninja Turtle stuff. They also had a movie. They also had a huge-ass toy line. Like, they even had Vin Diesel do commercials for this. And he just looked like he was having fun. It was hilarious. But I really wish I had some of those toys growing up. I loved this show when I was younger, too. But, yeah, they had a comic book series based on, like, the first 3 episodes. Actually done by Archie Comics. I wonder if they still have the rights to it. They could totally do a reboot. Or it could be picked up by IDW, who does, a lot of those 80s and 90s shows and toy lines as comics. They could do a really cool one. They actually did that last Ninja Turtles comic. That was really cool. So it's owned by Mattel. And Mattel just started that whole movie thing. So who knows? We could be getting a Street Sharks movie sometime in the future. Or if they're, just a general film thing, they could do a series, like another cartoon or a live action show, which could be interesting. If you've ever seen The Flash, you would know they have King Shark on there. So it's not the first time we have seen a giant CG shark in a live action show. Maybe it won't be the last. Who knows? But yeah, I'd like to see a reboot of this. It'd be really awesome. So the most recent news or anything that came out of Street Sharks is in 2014, someone had edited like a shit ton of Street Sharks information on the internet and caused like a faux Mandela effect, I want to call it, because he added in episodes that never existed. He created characters that never existed, and like that includes a female Street Shark that people like went on to like complain that they don't remember ever being in the show. Which kind of made me laugh because like it was very much like a fake Mandela effect. But it sparked this whole controversy about how that history doesn't matter in the age of the internet because anyone can go in at any time and change it. Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, other than Street Sharks, the most interesting thing about Street Sharks was its spin-off. So in the last couple of episodes, Street Sharks ended up meeting a group of, I want to call them heroes. They went by Dino Vengers, an alien group of dinosaurs who fought raptors and came to Earth to fight the raptors. Ended up actually being even bigger than the Street Sharks were. They ended up getting their own animated series with a completely different background story to what they had originally called, and they ended up being called, instead of Dino Avengers, Extreme Dinosaurs. Extreme Dinosaurs. So their backstory was basically a bunch of dinosaurs got kidnapped by these blue-skinned people from another dimension and evolved millions of years and had millions of years worth of information implanted into their brains. But they were too sentient, so they put them back down on the planet and kidnapped some raptors and made them dumb, but evolved. And they ended up getting picked up by another group of blue-skinned people, but this time the good guys. And they got their names, which were T-Bone. Oh, hey, that's the same name as the guy from SWAT Cats. Stegs, T-Bone, I should say, was a T-Rex, obviously. Stegs, the Stegosaurus. Bullseye. By the way, these names are both spelled with Z's instead of S's. So, they're extreme, man. There was Bullseye, who was a pterodon, and Spike, who was a triceratops. They could have come up with such a better name. Like, they have Bullseye and they've got Stegs. Spike is such a lame name. Let's see. They all got frozen, a la Fry from Futurama, and wake up billions of years in the future with their enemies, the Raptors, who now have a plot to warm up the Earth so it's more comfortable for them. Yep, that's their whole plan. Much like every other series, they decide to start helping protect the world that they really don't belong in, and fight a slew of different villains, and find various allies along the way. Much like the Turtles and other old shows, it was designed mostly just to sell toys for Mattel. Yep. But surprisingly, they also lasted 12 episodes longer than the Street Sharks. So Street Sharks had a 40-episode run over 3 seasons. The Extreme Dinosaurs had a 52-episode run, but it was also only in a single season. Surprisingly, though, they never had any comics, and they didn't have any video games. I'm surprised Street Sharks didn't have any video games either. They could have been a really good, beat 'em up, especially since they had, that ability to literally swim through concrete and eat through anything. Yeah, I feel like they're still so much cooler than the friggin' Dino Avengers and fucking Extreme Dinosaurs. There's other shows I could throw in here, like Dino Saucers. Fucking. There's the comic book series. What is it? I have it say it's radioactive black belt hamsters, adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters, which is a rip-off purposefully done in like a very similar style to the original Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles, where four hamsters who are launched into space come in contact with a space ooze, get mutated, crash land on Earth next to a monastery, and are raised by monks, and then are named after action movie stars. So good, so fucking hilarious. Came out originally in the 90s, I want to say, and then got rebooted back like in 2000, I want to say 2014, not 100% sure. Still good, still hilarious. I actually read that years ago. Then there's other shows I could have thrown in here also. I already said that, but I could have also thrown in let's see, The Mighty Ducks by Disney, because like that was weird. I could have thrown in Mummies Alive, but I consider that more like a Gargoyles kind of thing. But yeah, so like I had this idea while recording this. I have my own battling TMNT ripoff thing. I'm going to totally call them the Mighty Anima Brawlers. And it's going to be a team of 4. So, we got the leader, a wolf. What am I going to name all these guys? I'm going to name all of them after King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Okay. So, we got the leader, who's a wolf. His name's going to be Arthur. He's going to be like a sword wielder. He's going to use other medieval weapons. He's not going to use any armor, though. He's going to be a more, an agile kind of guy. Totally like a stoic, classic hero. We're going to have the heavy, who's going to be a pangolin, which, if you guys don't know, a pangolin, they're like one of my favorite animals. They're kind of like a armadillo, but like they can stand on 2 legs and are a lot more badass. Look one up. Let's see. He's going to be a mixed martial arts fighter. He's going to be like a boxer kind of guy, like a kickboxer. We're going to call him, we're going to name him after Sir Gawain. Then we got, next guy is going to be the inventor. He's going to be a mole, because I love moles. He's going to be, let's see, he's just going to use like his own gadgets. He's going to use like a laser gun. And if he has to get up close, he's going to use claws. He's going to be like kind of nerdy, and he's going to be almost blind. He's going to have to use his brain more than anything else. So you got that going on. Let's call him Percival, because that sounds like a really nice nerdy name, and he's also one of the knights. And let's see, the last guy we need the funny guy, funny animal. We're going with Lemur. He's going to be a lemur. His name is going to be Lancelot, because like, yeah, he's going to be like the lance to the hero. He's going to be the lance to Arthur. So why not call him Lancelot? He's going to be like traditional martial arts. He's going to be jujitsu. He's going to do kung fu. He's going to do ninjutsu, all that kind of stuff. But he's still going to be the funny one. He's going to be the overly hyperactive one who's got the best kind of personality. Yeah, no, if you guys want to see me draw at least a one-shot of this comic, hit me up. I'm serious. Like, if you guys want this, I will do it. And depending on the reception from it, who knows, it might become an actual thing. I might become my own TMNT ripoff, and someone might do an episode on me later on in the future. Who knows? It'd be awesome. Anyways, this episode was a shit ton of fun to do, guys. I'm so glad I got to do this. I'm glad I kind of got the problem with my recording fixed. It feels weird not being able to hear my voice through the audio, though. Normally I listen to myself as I do this, so it's a little weird just listening to my own voice without like actually hearing what it would sound like to you guys. I made some changes to social medias, made it a little bit easier for you guys to find me. You can find me now on both Instagram and Twitter at Not Coffee. That's coffee with a K. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Nerds on Topic. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Nerds Topic. You can find the amazing guy who does the music for my podcast on all social media. You can find him at Swam Music. He's a cool dude. Might be doing something with him later on. Don't forget, you can contact us on by email going through nerdsontopic@gmail.com. And you can, what else? Like, comment, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. If you leave a 5-star review, I will read whatever you write. Give you guys a free shout out because giving me a 5-star review will help us be found by more people. So I can do this more often for you guys, and maybe I'll start a Patreon later on if everything goes well. And who knows? Hopefully one day in the future I can just start doing this full time and bring you guys more episodes. And if I get a good Patreon following, I might start doing Patreon exclusive episodes. So if you guys want to hear, some exclusive content there, yeah, totally hit me up. And I think that is everything. Remember, guys, this is Nerds on Topic. I'm your solo nerd, Kevin, and this is not the podcast you're looking for. Bye, guys.